Hey guys, Jeremy here with Simple Life. Welcome to another installment of Tool Time Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about cordless screwdrivers. Sounds fun, right? Now, a lot of folks are probably wondering, okay, what's wrong with just a regular old-fashioned screwdriver? Absolutely nothing. There's nothing wrong with regular screwdrivers. And for most people, that's probably all you'll ever need. Probably about 10 years ago, I picked up this Snap-on. It's a cordless screwdriver. I bought this used off the Snap-on truck. And the reason I bought this was because at the time I was working for a company, we made a whole bunch of oil field equipment. A lot of the work we had to do involved inside the cab of the semi-truck. You know, adding different gauges, switches, removing dashes. And so many times we'd get in there and it just took so long to get all the screws out by hand that I bought this sucker, and it saves so much time. A lot of folks say, okay, well, why don't you just use a 1/4-inch impact driver? Well, these things are completely different tools. Yes, this does pretty much everything this does, but this does some things better than this does. And where that comes in is when it's a little bit more delicate. The work isn't as robust. This thing's got great torque. This thing drives screws, it'll loosen off screws. But if I'm, say, doing a whole revamp on a room and I want to update all the electrical outlets and switches like we've done in our house, this thing's just got a little bit too much torque. It's a little too aggressive. So recently I picked up this Milwaukee. This is the M4 1/4-inch hex screwdriver. Part number is 2101-20. I've had this for about 5 or 6 months, and I really do like it. It's held up very well, and I've actually used it a lot. This is one of those tools that I'd wanted for a while. I'm like, should I? And then I just went and bought it one day, and I haven't looked back. This thing lives on my wall. I printed off a 3D holder for it there, and often I'll just, if I've got something I know I need to work on, say if I'm working on the panel out at our gate, which is always giving me problems, or I've got to do some work on the furnace and I've got covers to remove. This thing is fantastic for that. One thing I really like about it is that when you're not operating it with the switches, this whole thing is locked solid. So this is essentially like a screwdriver. I can push this into a stuck screw and reef on it and break it free. Once it's free, then I let the motor do the work. Most of these screwdrivers have torque settings, that's up here, so you can adjust this way down. Say if you're just putting in new light covers on your switches, you can set it so it's really low, so that little screw, as soon as it bottoms out, clutch kicks in so you can't put too much torque on it. And you can crank it all the way up to this drill bit symbol, and what that basically is full torque. So the clutch isn't going to kick in, you're going to stall out the motor before the clutch kicks in. This one had it up here as well. Works great. And there's a lot of times when we'd be putting dashes back together, we would figure out what the appropriate torque was and just set it. And it's so nice just to go brrr, 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 brrr. Whereas this would be way too much, and you've always got to make sure you're just letting off the trigger at the right time. This gives you consistency, and it speeds up certain jobs incredibly well. 2 speeds on this thing. First, obviously, will give you more torque, and second, will give you more speed. I really like the switch layout. So we've got right, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and left. So tighten, loosen. And one feature I really like is that this has a fold in the middle, so you can hold it pistol grip style. Very similar to this one, but this one doesn't go straight. Now, this is a pretty big tool, actually. When you think about a screwdriver being this size, here's an impact driver. It's definitely not small. One thing I really like about this, which I think all of these things should have by now, is the ability to take your bits without having to pull up on the collet. Some of the older ones that I have, you have to actually, when you want to insert a bit, you have to pull it up, stick it in. That's just ridiculous. Come on. This is what you were looking for. Done. Obviously, release it. It has to stay locked in there, but that to me is a key feature. I won't buy anything that doesn't have that now because it's so nice that I can just keep this in my tool bag. I've got an assortment of bits, whatever one I need, I just grab it and right away I can get to work. Even some of the electric screwdrivers I've seen, I have a friend who has one, he just bought it off Amazon, and it's just a rechargeable battery, so you stick it in there. Those I think would be great. This has the M4 battery, which I've never had anything that uses M4 before. It's got 2 keys here, one's a little fatter than the other, And so it allows you to make sure you're putting the battery in only the right way, quick quarter turn, and you're good to go. This tool, the way I bought it, came with 2 batteries, a charger, and the tool. And then I actually 3D printed a battery holder just so that while I'm storing the battery at my workbench, I can keep the contacts clean. Overall, I'm really happy that I bought this. I probably use this several times per week. My wife really likes it too, so that's a huge bonus. Anytime she's putting up new blinds, she's like, "Can I use your electric screwdriver?" Because it's just so much faster. It's so much faster than going by hand and doing this. At least in my situation, we live in an older house. It doesn't take very long before I realize that, wow, this is absolutely a worthwhile tool. And if this thing died tomorrow, I would go replace it with another one because I enjoy it so much and it saves me so much time. Anyways, what are your thoughts on cordless screwdrivers? They seem like a bit of a gimmick, sort of. You know, if I were an electrician, working on a commercial panel, I don't think this is what I would use. I would probably use this. And I've seen a lot of electricians using these. But if it's a little bit more delicate of work you're using, or you want the repeatability that these clutch systems offer, these things are amazing. They absolutely are incredible. And I've had one in my toolbox for the past 10 years. This one's pretty much useless now. These batteries, they hold a charge for about 3 seconds. So I upgraded with a Milwaukee and I'm very happy about it. Anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts on cordless screwdrivers. Do you guys use them, or are they just a cheesy gimmick that's a complete waste of your time? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. Cheers.